Good morning, plants. Rather, good morning to us in Ukraine. But it's night in the States. I'm calling this disturbing news. Ukraine has complete a list of foreign species characterized by invasiveness. It has even approved a strategy to control the spread of these plants. And the American ash leaf maple, have landed on this list because nothing can grow around me. When I'm in Ukraine, I'm kick everything out of my house.
Oh, American ash leaf maple in Ukraine. Greetings from your homeland. I know Ukrainians, and those people aren't going to execute any strategy, even if they did sign it. They have a war to fight, not plants. You've got nothing to worry about. They'll bully you in scientific journals and on Facebook, but who's listening to scientists in Ukraine? It'll all die there. Plus, you can always pay off a human Ukrainian to remove the ash leaf maple from the list. We'll take up a collection here in America and register as a lobby for our diaspora maples in Ukraine.
I, the Alevtina Kakhidze, am also on the blacklist for creating tickets in Ukraine. I'm calling on my relatives in America to also form a lobby for my future seat in Ukraine. U.S. Tribe Sevda, naming Bry as lobby.
And I, ex-Levias, also ended up on the blacklist. I'm calling on my relatives in Kansas and Texas, Milkweeds Unite. I know that is what they call you at home. Milkweeds, milkweeds, milkweeds. But here, in those foreign parts in Ukraine, they call us Cotonuts. 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 Cotonuts.
Cotonuts. Cotonuts.
Milkweed here. Howdy, cotton Nazis. What happened to you over there? Did you reject our tranquil plant nature? Are you now like human Russians who fight with everything over there in the Ukraine?
Not there. Please cool down. We are not fighting like humans. If we kill, it happens slowly, not instantaneously, not instantaneously, not instantaneously. We just use our overly developed roots to take away resources from the local plants. Our large leaves create shade, capturing more and more of their territories, but without any bloodshed. Where would the blood come from anyway? We have only milk. After all, we are milkweed, not cotonuts.
How'd you do it? How'd you come up with this strategy?
It's simply almost no one in Ukraine eats us.
But what about the caterpillar of the monarch butterfly or the milkweed bug?
Ukraine doesn't have those insects. People introduced us here, but left our sworn enemies behind.
Wow. We could only dream of that kind of carefree life. We get devoured over here, especially by the caterpillars. When they turn into those butterflies that the eco-activists are all crazy about, they leave us alone. We can relax a little bit. But wait a minute. You Ukrainian cottonheads with your pristine leaves that barely get damaged have been sitting pretty in the Ukraine all this time while we're getting eaten alive. And now you've ended up on the human's blacklist as invasive species, and you want us to raise bribe money for you? Are you Russian niahuyeli? I mean, fuck you.
Calm down, and you can forget about Russian in Ukraine. People here are gradually switching to Ukrainian, Ukrainian. We saw a woman who returned from Berlin, where she had fled the Russian bombing, not recognizing her own husband. When she got back there, insisted on calling her Olena. So she said, the Russian Elena. The source of the male passport is real for human Ukrainians. It turns out that Ukrainian men spend their whole lives keeping women down, and now there's a payback war comes and boom, they can't live. So this one guy who wasn't allowed to live spent 40 days in a basement during the Russian human invasion with nothing but potatoes to eat. By the way, that is another plant species introduced from the Americas, specifically from South America, but unlikely as cottonheads. It wasn't bad. It wasn't put on the blacklist. But there is no time to play the blame game. What we are facing the direct threat of genocide in Ukraine because of this new strategy. We have no future in Ukraine at all, and all we are hearing in response from our American relatives is that they envy our cushy lifestyle here in Ukraine, which, by the way, is about to come to an end, after which we will be cooked, plants. I'm talking to the milkmaids. Okay.
Be plants, be plants, be plants, be plants.
But do you hear this? Do you hear this? The Ukrainian cottonists are talking about genocide. Like what? Like gentlemen? Enough manipulating the truth to the Americans. People in Ukraine are finally ready to take responsibility for our disappearance, our local flora disappearance. And you are shouting to me right now, genocide? You show no empathy toward us in the past, and now you're showing none at all. You will die by the sickle of Ukrainian gardeners. You have a strong bond with the land. They have the strong bond with the land, and therefore with us, the plants, and nothing is stopping them from executing this strategy. Americans, just don't try to bury the strategy. Just don't take up a collection to bribe the humans, the Ukrainians, to save your diaspora in Ukraine. It's the only way we can dream of decolonization and of an end to this discrimination on our own land by all these cottonists, ashleaf maples, and false acacias, until we completely exterminated from our sweet Ukraine. So I'm calling you to stand with local plants, stand with local plants. Let's sing all together. Stand with local plants, stand with local plants.
Stand with local plants. Stand with local plants. Stand with local plants. Stand with local plants. Stand with local plants. Stand with local plants. Stand with local plants. Stand with local plants. Stay with local plants. Stand with local plants.
As an American, I understand the rights of local indigenous species very, very well. I also understand that the situation, it's hopeless. Our relatives in Ukraine have proven stronger than the locals by acting in concert with humans. Humans harm the land through their activity. You, our diaspora in Ukraine, don't have to capitalize on this. That includes you, false acacia, you, box elder maple, and you, Asclepias cottonheads. We shouldn't imitate humans. Fortunately, plants aren't people who kill on the spot. We're pacifists to whatever degree that's possible on this planet.
I'm a pacifist. My name is Daffodil. I'm a human who probably ended up on your Zoom call because my name is a flower. But I'm also a pacifist. I'm against war, against blacklisting plants, and against control strategies. The earth belongs to all plants equally.
It's us again, the local plants. These humans' emotional appeals about the earth belonging to all plants equally is simply painful to us as much as we can feel the pain.
My name is Lily. I'm another human who ended up on your plant Zoom because of my floral name, just like Daffodil, who I see is going on about pacifism again. But for whom? For plants? Plants need pacifism like a fish needs a bicycle. Plants don't take sides in a war of liberation. You put up no resistance even when we humans cut you down like a salad for lunch. Daffodil, use your brain and don't be a vegetable.
Now, just wait a minute. I am a vegetable, a potato. What does "don't be a vegetable" mean? Did I hear you correctly? Well, let's ask the obvious. Do plants hear? And if so, what could you, dear humans, tell us? First, let's talk about how you humans hear. You have a specialized organ for this that reacts to waves in the air. Then there is the eardrum. And from there, the sound changes from a wave into an electrical impulse that goes to your brains if you have them. But plants don't have ears. So humans have decided that we plants can't hear. No, can't we see because we don't have eyes? We don't eat and don't digest food because we have no mouths or stomachs. So, to wrap up, do plants hear? Yes, as a result of evolution. You humans ended up with 2 ears on either side of your heads. But we hear through the earth, soil, our roots, with millions of ears.
Forgive me, potato. I'm trying to avoid vegophobic language.
I am not finished. I am also a foreign plant from South America, not north like the last discussion from Ukrainians' blacklist. Unlike them, all those maples, acacias, and cottonheads my relatives haven't been able to be naturalized here in Ukraine. With us, there's no talk of dominating local Ukrainian species. Without humans in Ukraine, we'd never come up in the spring. In winter, Ukrainians protect our tubers from frost, and in summer, they rescue our leaves and flowers from larvae of Colorado beetles. To be fair, humans themselves are at fault for not bringing turkeys along with us to Europe, who eat these potato bugs from our leaves in our native Mexico. And the bugs themselves certainly go to Ukraine thanks to humans. They call them Colorado here and still believe that the American humans introduced them to destroy us here. Not us, but the economy built up around us. Of course, it's delusional and Soviet propaganda against America.
Please forgive humans for turning you into a helpless plant that can't live without your aid. You are a plant with disabilities thanks to humans. For that, we have to apologize for.
I have nothing to apologize for. My ancestors cared for you, plants. They watered you 3 times a day, built plants greenhouses and botanical gardens.
Fuck you, Daffodil. I got nothing human to say to you, but I'll try. You're a cheeky bastard and capable of learning anything. If your ancestors watered plants 3 times a day, and you nostalgically remind plants and also build greenhouses for them and even botanical gardens, that means they were responsible for the spread of foreign plants. And some of those, not all, turned out to be invasive, which is what we have been talking about for the last half an hour. Listen up. Plants don't need protection in the form of greenhouses and botanical gardens. Those are exactly the shelters that all those invasive plants escape from, occupies, invaders, colonizers, bad boys. The local plants are the victims of these very botanical gardens and greenhouses that your ancestors built, Daffodil. And the plants that couldn't escape are still weak and dependent, plant with disabilities, today like potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, or worse, those like orchids that exist in greenhouses and botanical gardens only for beauty.
You are sick. You are homophobic anthropophobe.
Daffodil, I take it as a compliment. This is why I joined this Zoom to kick you out of the plans discussion. Plans, whoever your moderator is, you're older and wiser than we are. Truly, it is you control us, not we you. We depend on you. We humans can't breathe without you, can't eat, even if we are not vegans. Recognizing this makes some humans uncomfortable and they prefer to call you vegetables, like I just did a minute ago. What good do we do to you? Just kick us humans out from your conference.
That Lily writes, humans created this problem of invasive species for us. We made our plant system stable over millions of years. So each plant has its place. But then humans showed up on ships, then planes, and took some of us to foreign lands where we proved invasions. Now lands gave some of us superpowers, then now our generation has to pay for. Could I, the ash-leaved maple, really be responsible for that fact of I release chemicals that suppress all plants around me? You think I care if other species grow next to me like in North America? But here in Ukraine, they can't break through my large American body, my leaves.
But I was brought over to make latex from. Humans couldn't figure out. So they abandoned me. I escaped to Ukrainian nature where no bugs or mammals eats me because I'm toxic. I want a bug or anyone to control me so I can be part of the ecosystem. Someone for the eco-activist to champion, just like in America, 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 and not just Ukrainian Kotonazi. Those days may be minutes, a number.
I don't know how I got to Ukraine, but I definitely didn't climb aboard a ship and cross the ocean to reach the shores of Europe. Humans brought me here for some reason. Am I now supposed to just shrivel up because of the thickets I have created in Ukraine? Only humans do irrational things like commit suicide, not well plants, even if we are pseudo.
I am garlic mustard, originally from Europe, an alien in the USA, declared invasive. I'd like to take the floor. I'm being bullied in the US just like the cottonheads in Ukraine. They call me Russian and have been trying to exterminate me in their forests for a few years now. The strategy to control my spread has already been put into play in the US, and American democracy presents no salvation. But I also didn't come to the forests of North America from Russia. I've got no legs. My head is full of the garlic smell, and I can't guess how or why this happened. I suppose this is how victims of structural violence always feel. They have a blurred understanding of upcoming reality. Maybe the colonizers brought me with them to feel at home in America.
Hello, relatives. We garlic mustards are indigenous to all of Europe, not just Russia. So it's not right for them to bully you and call you Russian. But the main thing for us is to sit quietly over here in Europe and Russia and try to maintain neutrality in others' wars so we don't find ourselves in our own. Keep your chin up somehow.
That's all you can say to me?
Is that all you can say to me? That's all you can say to me. That's all you can say to me.
May I say something? I'm Rose, another human who got into your plan Zoom because of my name. So before you kick me out, I would like to say that we are humans, люди, created those invasions. So it's up to us to undo. It seems we are all humans who are the plants kicked out of the discussion for good reason. I would like to give the floor to Florian, a botanist.
We thank the scientist for offering his opinion in a group of philosophers. That doesn't happen so often. And now I'm open to your questions.
If humans, Ludi, cast those plant invasions, is there any hope? Any hope? Hope that we humans, Ludi, can undo it, undo it, undo it, undo it, undo it, fix it.
It won't happen fast. I'd say that we have a lot of work ahead of us.
I can just picture your botanical work with these plants, digging them up, using chemicals, laying down weed barriers. I'm opposed to the genocide of any plants and othering them. Who cares if they're foreign or local? The earth belongs to all plants equally. That is my position. And yes, I'm a pacifist and communist.
When I see someone with the hammer and sickle, I'm not sure I can continue in a calm discussion.
Just try and tell Daffodil we are talking about cycles. We are talking about plants, not about hammers.
In some parts of the planet, this pacifism is a 21st century disease, but wars are still happening all over the earth, both among humans and among plants. Sure, for 70 years, in that rather small part of the earth, there were no wars, but that achievement has been squandered, and you, Daffodil, are having a hard time accepting this, because no, people like you both fear pacifism to plants.
Fortunately, people like Daffodil only criticize the fight with invasive species from humanities departments. They haven't yet gotten to scientific journals.
You think being hostile toward plants that we humans have transported around the world is the solution?
You think I look at a plant and decide just like that? Invasive. No, we scientists compile these plant blacklists by studying plant behavior over time and space. The structure of the ecosystem before and after their introduction, changes in the amounts of nutrients and water in the soil before and after their invasion, and so on. It's us, the scientists, who place sticks around alien plants to find out how quickly their shoots grow. And only if they exceed the permissible speed do we call the plant invasive. But the very name, invasive species, comes from human history, from our wars and our armed invasions. We didn't get it from plants. We humans have been warring for our entire history. The plants, they never have. Even today, they maintain the neutrality that is their nature and don't get involved. So both local and alien plants die right alongside us humans, just like in Ukraine right now.
So the word invasive came from armed human invasions?
Invasion is also a biological term, but the connection between invasive species and large geographical discoveries, it's obvious. Vasco da Gama, who found an expedient sea route to India and Christopher Columbus, who famously reached the shores of America, are the father and mother of invasions in the plant world after their quote-unquote discoveries of so-called quote-unquote new worlds. People took plants back home and planted them there in Europe. Subsequently, some of them proved to be invasive.
Wow. They also took plants from Europe to Americas. Here I agree with you. We white people have colonized much of the world, including the plant world. But excuse me, does your strategy for controlling the spread of alien species also apply to controlling the white population from spreading in America and Africa? I understood this botanist correctly. White people are an invasive species, so we should wage an all-out war, everyone versus everyone.
I stand before you as a botanist. I love this world, and I love this world without consideration for its plants. I'm not a politician or a historian, but a botanist. I'm telling you that entire ecosystems are ruined when local plants disappear under the influx of invasive species. The local plants, they lose out to the invasive ones. We have posited many hypotheses of invasiveness, of why this happens. But here, we have only discussed one of them: escaping natural predators. After many types of plants have been introduced and naturalized in a new territory, they are freed from the stress of their national predators. Phytophages and pathogens that usually control the species population in its original range. But this is only one hypothesis. There are others. We don't have enough time left in this Zoom. It would take hours to explain the paradox of invasive species.
Original range is that where they are native. I want to clarify because daffodil is already forming at the mouth. Even thought it should us. Word like regional to hear him. Wait, I have got idea. I have got an idea. If invasive species have superpowers because they have escaped their natural predators and haven't found anyone to eat them, if the new geographical zone of Ukraine, then why don't we humans, Ukrainci, start eating the invasive plants? Start eating the invasive plants. Start eating the invasive plants. Start eating the invasive plants.
That's a good idea. You know, it's not even new. The indigenous people of North America used to eat Asclepias with cornmeal, and garlic mustard's leaves were used in salads in Europe.
But what are we supposed to do with the ash-leaved maple and that acacia?
People, they are unbelievably creative. This is their superpower. Sometimes it works for evil, but the main thing is to direct the energy towards something positive. People don't listen to scientists like me, so it's up to you humanitarians and politicians.
So, eat your enemy and take on its powers? That is your idea? Excuse me, but that's an idea from the past. The idea of subjugation, even domination.
No, that's not it. Eating a plant doesn't mean killing it. Fortunately, plants are principally different beings. They could set up a voluntary sacrifice party or a party of voluntary victims. They can rebuild themselves, unlike us humans.
A voluntary sacrifice party, party of voluntary victims. They can rebuild themselves, unlike us humans.
They reconstructed their bodies long ago and got rid of organs, leaving only their functions. You know, this is why I love plants. We'll learn from them. They can be our mentors. Stand with plants.
So we will eat the invasive species to protect the local ones.
Let's do creative eating, but not to forget humanity could exist without the mess it alone has created. Just like a child who makes a mess of her room, rips the head off dolls, and crashes her cars into the walls. But this child has grown up, and in addition to nursery rhymes and Dick and Jane, she can read ecology textbooks and start cleaning her room. Without this, we're going to live in an unhealthy environment, like with trash on the desk and cockroaches that run across the bed. Of course, this is only my humble opinion as a scientist who has already said that I love this world with all its plants.
May I also add something? We humans have to learn how to love our local flowers, to see their beauty, and not always reach for new and exciting exotic flowers. This love for the exotic is anti-ecological. This love for the exotic is anti-ecological. This love for the exotic is anti-ecological.
This love for exotic is anti-ecological.
As for roses, not you, but the ones you were named for, the ones that were domesticated in Asia by selecting for number of petals. Of course, here in Ukraine, we have lots of wild roses. Getting to know new species and recognizing them is a wonderful thing that propels us forward, just like our knowledge of natural science. But we also undeniably have to do something to prevent people from ignoring local plants, or they might disappear forever.
Thank you for Lorien. I will think of myself as a wild rose from now on. Dear humans, we must conclude until next time. As long as the plants live, we humans live too. As long as the plant live, we humans live too.
As long as the plants live, we humans live too. As long as the plants live, we humans live too. As long as the plants live, we humans live too.